What's up, everybody? It's your favorite show, Get a Bucket. I'm your host, Trey, and as usual, I hope you're all having a wonderful, wonderful day. Today, we're going to talk about Greg Popovich, a legendary coach. He retired. But before we do that, please make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Comment, tell anyone about the show. Trying to get the ratings up a little bit, just a little bit. But like I said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about Greg Popovich and him retiring. Legendary head coach, ladies and gentlemen. One of a kind. I don't know if we're gonna get another one like him. And keep in mind, I'm a Laker fan. Like y'all see the shirt with the jersey, right? Kobe, my guy. But I had to throw on a little white and black just because that is the Spurs colors. Show a little love and appreciation to the Spurs because they did give us some wonderful battles, right? But ladies and gentlemen, real quick, Greg Popovich actually just wanted to give him some give him some praise, right? He was with the Spurs for quite a while. But before the Spurs, he actually did have a college career. I don't know if you knew that or not. Yep, that's right. Greg Popovich was out there getting the bucket, ladies and gentlemen. Now, he attended the U.S. Air Force Academy. He was a guard, and he was the team captain. So I'm going to say this right now. That does sound like it bodes well for a head coach. And he did play post-college, after graduation. He did play for the Armed Forces All-Star team, competing internationally. He did actually try out for Team USA during the 1972 Olympics. Didn't make it. So, it was close. Too bad this ain't horseshoes. But I thought that was kind of interesting to know because I don't know how many coaches out there can say they tried out for an Olympic USA team. Like basketball, I don't know about that one. But again, that's Greg Popovich out there getting the bucket. I don't know if y'all knew that. But the man, the myth, the legend. It starts 1988. He was an assistant coach under Larry Brown as head coach, right? And then he becomes general manager and vice president of basketball operations 1994 to 2002. At that time, like, wait a second, hold on. Because won't he head coach? Oh no, he became head coach as well in 1996. Now he just retired from head coach, but ladies and gentlemen, let's not get this twisted too. Okay, he is still president of basketball operations, so it's not like we got rid of Coach Pop. Well, we got rid of Coach Pop. We didn't get rid of Pop. You know what I'm saying? So at age 76, he said he wants to only have one job, not two. And I can't be but so mad at that because, again, the man has worked with a lot of players that we've seen. We got David Robinson. We got Tim Duncan. We got Tony Parker. We got Manu Ginobili. We got Kawhi Leonard. That's a lot of players right there, ladies and gentlemen, that he has worked with. And when I say work with, too, ladies and gentlemen, it's not like they ain't ever had no success. Like, we got some MVPs, finals MVPs, championships, obviously, because I said finals MVPs. Like, it's a lot of things that Greg Popovich has done. And just a couple notable players. You've seen, like, I mentioned Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker, Kawhi Leonard, David Robinson. We got other players like a Bruce Bowen, who people don't really talk about as much. Good player. DeJounte Murray, good player under Coach Pop. Patty Mills. Hey, Patty Mills is, as an Olympic player, Patty Mills is one of them ones, bro. Coach Pop. LaMarcus Aldridge. Yeah, he was on the Blazers for a little second, but a lot of his career was spent with the Spurs, a decent amount. So we got to throw him up there. And then we got to mention players like Danny Green as well, too. You remember Danny Green in the finals when he was snapping, looked like he won finals MVP. Before that, he was in the G League. Shout out Coach Pop. So again, we have some very notable players that Coach Pop has actually worked with in his tenure. I mean, we got some other players that he's worked with too, right? Like Victor Wembanyama. Come on now, man. Like, we know him already. But how about players like Stephon Cassell, Jeremy Sokan? Like, these young players he's helped raise. So I'm really looking forward to see how these guys pan out. Because, again, they've had the tutelage of Greg Popovich. And, again, that's just as a coach. These players can say they've been coached by Greg Popovich. It is a little bit different. Case in point, Brad Stevens, right? He was the head coach for the Celtics. Ain't he GM or basketball or president of basketball operations? He's something like that. I think he is president. I think he is head of operations over there. Celtics have been doing quite well. But it is a difference being coached by Brad Stevens versus he just running the shop. So it is going to be a little different. Coach Pop can still talk to you, but it's going to be your coach that's really cultivating your development. Speaking of coaches, too, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, Coach Pop, he has had a wonderful pedigree of coaches, right? We got Steve Kerr, 3-time champion as a head coach. We got Becky Hammon. That's the first woman assistant NBA head coach or NBA coach. That's a record, right? Etched in the history books right there. How about Ime Udoka? As a player and a coach, Pop's tutelage right there. And keep in mind, Ime out there snapping with the Rockets, like with the right players and the right amount of time, the Rockets could pan out. And we done already seen what Becky Hammon did with the Aces. So again, Coach Pop is going to be talked about for a while just because of who he's coached, who he's mentored. And of course, if you watched him as a coach, you got to talk about him. Because again, ladies and gentlemen, he gave my Lakers fits so many times, bruh. It was ridiculous to the point that it actually made me think, what's a wish list of players that I would have wanted to see Coach Pop be with? Like, have him coach. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an interesting list, right? I'm going to talk about, well, Kawhi Leonard. And I understand, he was already on the list, right? Like, he was already up there. Keep in mind, he did leave. So if he stayed, that legacy with Pop and Kawhi, what happens if the Spurs win 2 more titles or 1 more title? We got to talk about them a little bit differently, too. If Kawhi has 4 rings, for a fact people are going to talk about, Kawhi's better than Bron. So again, that legacy continued. I would have loved to see it. It would have been a nice wish list. Speaking of Bron, let's talk about Bron real quick. What about Bron and Coach Pop? That would be a decent combo. Because again, Bron is rated for having a strong IQ, right? And Coach Pop, hey, we know Pop and what he do. So if you had both of those two paired with one another, I do wonder what that would look like, ladies and gentlemen. That would be an interesting pairing. Maybe he gets past the Warriors, whether we talk about Kevin Durant or not. Because again, you got Greg Popovich, and people had Kawhi there too, so he would have had Kawhi. Just saying. And people talk about how Kawhi would have gotten past the Warriors and da-da-da-da-da. Right? Speaking of Kevin Durant, how about Kevin Durant? He's on my wish list as well. Now, Kevin Durant said that he wanted to play the right way, and doesn't Coach Pop play the right way, coach the right way? Like that I would have loved to see that pairing. Kevin Durant is a scorer, but he's a basketball player first. And you mean to tell me Coach Pop wouldn't have been able to work with that? He could have played with anybody, any team that Coach Pop had. And I think they would have been viewed as contenders. But again, that is a wish list, because imagine that. Imagine the beautiful poetry of basketball that we missed. Oh. But it's all right, though. We did see him go to the Warriors. It was cool, I guess. We got 2 rings. It's cool. It's fine. It's dandy. Kobe. The Mamba. I would have loved to see Kobe coached by Greg Popovich. Weirdly enough, in a Spurs uniform. Now, keep in mind, I'm not saying I wanted Kobe to leave my Lakers. I'm saying it would have been nice to see Kobe and Pop in an NBA game coached, right? Like, not in the All-Star game, nothing like that. Because I think Kobe's drive and Coach Pop's drive, their mindset, like this, like they was going to be like this, ladies and gentlemen. They was going to be here, aligned, start to finish. I don't know if they would have had the same issues that Phil Jackson and Kobe would have had. Maybe so. Who knows? But I think there might have been a little bit of difference between Pop and Phil in that regard. Phil actually was able to coach stars too. So I'm not saying that Phil couldn't control players. I'm saying I think with the system in place, Kobe would have been all right. It might not have shuffled around as much too, because again, his gripe was work ethics. I don't think we had work ethics issues for the Spurs. But, again, would have been an interesting pair. Glad he stayed with my boys, though. But my final one, for this one I got to point out, it had to be noted. James Harden. Because, again, ladies and gentlemen, James Harden did have an offensive tenure where I'm like, hey, yo, buddy snapping. Imagine if he played defense. I don't think we would have had to imagine if he was on the Spurs. So imagine now the Spurs having a player like Kawhi and LaMarcus Aldridge. We've already seen Kawhi and James Harden playing and doing well versus a team like the Nuggets and Nikola Jokic. Surprising people, in fact. What if we got that earlier? Buddy in his prime. 2 MVP candidates. Coach Pop as the coach? That would have been crazy. They might have actually beat the Warriors, in fact, with Kevin Durant and Steph Curry. That could have been a wonderful duo battle to witness. Again, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about my wish list here. Got a little upset because it didn't happen. But it is what it is, though. Speaking of another thing that got me a little upset, we got to go back right to the playing days. Not this one. This one. His high school days or his college days. Ladies and gentlemen, did you know that Greg Popovich and Coach K, I'm wearing Duke shorts right now. I ain't going, do I need to get up and show y'all? Let me see. I can probably do it a little bit. Blot out right there. I mean, Coach K. I ain't working. I ain't playing it. It just happened. But they played around the same time. They were in college at the same time. They both played basketball. They never played against one another. But imagine if that happened. My wish list would have been for them two to match up both guards. Oh, man, that would have been lovely to see. Because then they both became Hall of Fame head coaches. Both were part of the Olympic squad for coaching. Come on now. Storyline write itself. And then for the moment when Coach K was possibly going to leave Duke and go to my Lakers, he was going to leave my boys and go to my boys. That narrative of Lakers versus Spurs, it would have continued. So again, ladies and gentlemen, that's my wish list. Again, I would have loved to see Coach K battle off against Greg Popovich in college. But the man did do well. And again, ladies and gentlemen, can't fret. Because it's not like he ain't going to win a championship anytime soon. This man, Victor Wembanyama, out here is about to be doing disgusting numbers. Like this 98, 47, and 19, maybe it's possible. Like maybe it's possible. But Coach Pop, though, you're going to be credited for a little bit of Victor Wembanyama's success. And you gotta respect Coach Pop. End of day. So it will be sad to see him as a head coach. It is the end of a tenure. I wore this jacket just because he got so much France connections, and I did get this from France. And I made sure they had the Kobe shirt on just to show a little love because I'm a Kobe fan, and we battled y'all so daggone much. So again, ladies and gentlemen, Coach Pop, legendary coach, retires. We salute you, sir. Thank you for your time, and I hope you enjoy only having one job now. But ladies and gentlemen, that does conclude the end of the episode, though. So we greatly appreciate your time. Thank you all for listening. Please make sure to like, subscribe, comment, tell anyone about the show. My name is Trey. I'm the host of Get a Bucket. Hope you all are having a good one. Oh, and before I go, I guess make sure to tell me anything that you liked about Greg Popovich as well, too. Got to make sure to hear your fun facts. I know I got stories for days, but I'm going to leave it off on that note. Hope you all have a good one. Take care.